Not your bellies all full. We're going to come to the fun part. We have some competitions that we're going to have. First off, we're going to do a monologue competition. So who here has a monologue prepared and wants to enter the competition? Okay, that's great. We have 3 people for the monologue. And I need now pitch. Who's got a good pitch? That they can want to deliver. Now some of this is going to producers and directors, so if you got a pitch, let me know. No pitch? No pitch? All right. Now this section is going to be about horror stories. All right? Now I want to know, as filmmakers, directors, actors, your horror story. Worst case scenario. I'm going to give you a horror story. All right? I used up all my credit cards to pay for my movie called Born as a Bitch. All right? And it was great. We had trailers. We had this. It cost $100,000. All right? So I hired this woman to shoot behind the scenes footage with still camera and a video camera. So I gave her the video camera and I said, shoot behind the scenes stuff. She says, okay. So I'm directing the scenes and I notice her standing in back of me doing nothing. So I'm wondering, but I was too busy. You know, director has a lot of things to do. So it was wonderful. It was the best experience of my life. We had a big crew. I had an assistant director, Emmy award-winning DP. So at the end of the day, I'm thinking, this is going to be great. I'm going to cut this behind-the-scenes footage together. It's going to be awesome. So I go to the girl, I said, you have the footage. She gives me the camera, and the camera is just like stuff of people walking into the bathroom. But no behind the scenes. So I said, what happened to the behind the scenes? She goes, what's that? I was like, you're kidding me. You said that you do film photography. She said, yeah, I shot your still images. I said, well, what about the video footage? She says, well, you weren't clear. And I was like, and this is after I paid her. So I was very, very scared.
It's always after you pay them.
Yeah.
It's always after.
Now the other story is kind of cool in a way. I got to do a pitch for Disney, right? So I'm flying out there, and it was set up at the studio, the head of the studio. So me and him are flying out there, and he says, if you're okay, let me do the pitch. And we've been talking. And I was nervous as shit. You know, it's like all the executives are going to be there. So we get there, and I'm sitting in the reception, and a woman comes up to me. This is Disney now. She goes, would you like some milk and cookies? I'm like, you're shitting me. You're not having milk and cookies. Yes, okay. And she comes back with milk and cookies. I was like, you guys are serious. Disney is serious. So we walk in, and there's all these executives sitting there. And I even get more nervous. I'm sweating. And they're talking, and the first thing they said was, we love your work. I was like, wow, great. And that was the last thing I said. I was so scared, and the head of the studio, he did my pitch for me. Disney eventually passed, but it was a great experience. So that was one horror story, one experience. Who has a horror story? I got one. You got one? Go ahead. Come up here, man.
Oh, up there?
Yeah.
That's another horror story.
All right. So I met my ex-wife. No. All right. So anybody? My name is Kevin BOWFINGER, STAGGER, and all right. So I was shooting a movie, and I used a $30 tripod. Right? Some of y'all know that's a big mistake already. So I had my Canon 70D on it. This was when it first came out, so it was like $2,000 for this camera. Took out my 100mm fixed focus lens, was about that big, very heavy. Screwed it on the camera, and I went like this. Back of my eye, on the side of my eye, I saw the camera just go like this. And I looked and I turned, and by the time I turned, it was on its way down. I tried to kick it up, but it still landed on the lens. Oh. Camera was done. Oh. Lens, put it to you like this. The lens was so messed up. If I pointed it at a black guy, he looked white. I tell you right there, right? Then I took that $30 tripod, and the actors that was working with me saw how I destroyed that tripod with my bare hands, where they turned around and looked, and they just was like, Nothing to say, they said nothing, and I was devastated. But I went on and bought the 80D, which is better than the 70D. That was one. That's one story. Can I tell another one?
Yes.
You guys want to hear another one?
Yeah.
All right. Working on this movie called Angels of Death. The movie was finished. I was in New York. It was done. It was finished. I was filming it at my mother's house, on the floor at her house, and she's yelling at me, "Why don't you stop doing your hobby and find a job?" A job? Hobby? I'm like, what? A hobby? So I was putting music onto this movie. This movie was finished. I had people interested in it and everything. Something popped up on the screen. I was so frustrated. I didn't know what it said. I just hit enter. Next thing I know, I heard. I was like, what is that? Huh?
Dry formatting?
It was, I don't know what it was, but it was gone. All I know is the movie was gone. And I couldn't find it, I couldn't get it back. Did not know to back up. Wait, teacher?
Yeah.
What the?
It's
I didn't recognize it.
We're both sports.
Yeah, there it is. There's the teacher. Okay. So, the movie was gone. And I looked in I couldn't find all the cassette tapes that I had. I think either my mother threw them out because I kept them in a plastic bag. I think either she threw them out or I threw them out, but I know the movie was done. The movie was gone, nowhere to be found. It was done. I had one disc, and it was a corrupt disc, so it gave me 45 minutes of the movie.
No.
And it said, it got to the point where you could watch the whole movie, enjoy it. I have it on YouTube, just the little clips of it. And it ended right at the part where the guy says, "You want to know who the killer is?" So that was my horror story. And right at the part where it says, "The killer is," done. So that's my horror story.
I got a horror story for you if you like.
What's the horror story? All right, come on.
Hey man, grab the story.
Hey guys, I'm Alan Woodman from the Las Vegas Stunt Academy, stuntman, stunt coordinator, and this is relevant to several people in the room. Las Vegas stunt guys, raise your hand. There's half the group here. Right? So we're working on a film called Boomer about 2 years ago. There's the star of it right there. And as far as camera equipment goes, what was this camera? 130 grand? 120 grand?
Yeah, it was the same camera used on
Blade Runner.
49.
It's the same camera, literally, they shot Blade Runner, the original Blade Runner movie.
Oh man.
Alexa?
Yeah, the Alexa, right? We were just about done. We had like the final 2 days or something left to shoot. Shot the whole film.
You gotta throw in how he didn't want anyone around.
Oh yeah,
Don't touch his
the
camera,
director
don't
was
touch
adamant.
my tripod.
Don't stand near my camera. Don't touch my camera. No, even if it's falling, don't touch it. Okay. So we're all like this. We're all talking over here. The camera's kind of over where he is, and the wind picks up. Tripod, camera, everything.
Oh.
Bam! And what, he broke the inside lens?
Broke the lens in.
Broke the lens inside the camera. It was like, what, $17,000?
He has to ship it to
Germany to get it fixed for 17 grand for that fix, right? So, like, whatever. So we're shooting this film, and about a week earlier, we were shooting a big action scene, and someone had hired, and I'm not gonna mention his name, he was a pro MMA fighter, special forces ex-military guy, and we had this fight scene between one of the other actors and him. Well, we shot the main scene, but then the next day, the director came in and goes, "I want some more action in there, just a little bit more. Give me a couple more beats." I'm like, "What?" So I came up, choreographed this whole scene to fit right in, like literally. I had ended it the day before, and I knew exactly where it was. Look, all we have to do is, he will just step forward and do another little bit, and you can end exactly where we ended it already. So we just literally take this fight scene, put it right in the middle, you'll never know. So we do this fight scene, boom, 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 he lands up. We do it about 4 or 5 times, for a couple of angles, and then the director goes, "Okay, now, let me preface this with the day before when we shot, what we shot was a very dramatic move. The hurricane, anybody knows that one, where the like the Black Widow move where they jump up, grab the legs around the head, swing and throw the person. So we had rehearsed that at my school. We had rehearsed that probably 4 days, like 4 days prior to the fight scene. Then we rehearsed it during the fight scene. We had, you know, my pads were there and everything. On this day, we had not rehearsed it at all. And the director says, do the whole thing now. Now, what do you mean the whole thing? Well, you know, front to back, I want the throw at the end and everything. And I'm like, no, they haven't rehearsed that. Like, we did that yesterday, but today's a new day. We did the fight scene. They have not rehearsed that. And he goes, it'll be okay, don't worry. And I'm like, no, really, no. That's no. Director, like, overread me, said, no, just don't worry, it'll be okay. The first actor, the MMA guy, goes up, does the kick, the guy's knee rams right to the guy's eye, who had eyeglasses on, cut into his eyebrow, gashed his head open. I'm first there, I'm like compressing his head, I'm like, he's okay, it's okay, let me look at it. Let me look at it, he's all right, he'll be all right. Now I should tell you, this MMA guy cried like a freaking 5-year-old for a week and a half. Oh my God, I gotta go to the hospital, emergency room. No, dude, it's okay. Like, the bleeding's already stopping, you're good. Now, I've been doing stunts since 1981. I have a completely 100% record of safety on every film. Not that I have run as a stunt coordinator, but as I have ever done as a stunt man, or a background actor, or a stunt coordinator, or an actor on a film. I've never had any injuries on any set that I've ever been, not even major ones, right? And this wasn't, I wouldn't consider major, but it was the most major I've ever had. Well, this guy ends up going to the doctors. He goes, I'm gonna need like 15 stitches, I know it. He goes, doctor gave him 1 stitch. And I think he did that just to shut him up. But he cried like a baby for days about this. So forcing is like, I tried to tell him no, he didn't listen to me, did his own thing, bam, and I take no credit for that. It's like, I told you not to do it, you want to do it anyway, that's on you. But there you go, it's a stunt for
Thank you. Question for you. You ever work with Vic Armstrong?
I'm sorry?
You ever work with Vic Armstrong?
No.
Oh, okay. He did stunts for like Raiders.
Oh.
Okay. Horror story? Any more?
I can add to that last one, actually.
Go ahead.
That's it?
Yeah. So, same film. Very first day of
First day, why they hired me?
shooting. Very first day of shooting, there is no Alan on set.
Yes.
We're doing a dramatic scene. It's a negotiation for money and an item that we have, and we've got to get rid of guns. We're in a random warehouse. Probably never should have shot there because the one room where we ended up doing a fight scene and had bats in the walls, which means, you know, bat poop. Not a good thing, but we didn't find that out until later, which I'll kind of sort of get to. Yeah, exactly. So after about, I don't know, we're about 10 hours in, and we're thinking, okay, well, we wanted to get that fight scene. It's not going to happen. I mean, we haven't even rehearsed it. We haven't done anything yet, and there's no choreographer. It's literally me and the 5 guys I'm fighting who are going to basically go through and figure out what this fight scene is going to be. So we're feeling pretty good. We're exhausted. We've been doing a lot of stuff. He says, all right, on to the fight scene. We haven't done anything. We haven't rehearsed. We're like, well, you guys do that, and I'll go put a new lens on or whatever. So, oh, shit, whatever. So we do a good 30 minutes. We've got a good thing going. We show him, and he's like, yeah, no, this is good. Let's shoot it. So we start shooting, and we're doing every clip and everything. And in the process, that's when I throw a guy back into the wall, and it breaks, and the bats go flying out. But having said that, we get to, now we're about 14 hours in. We're all exhausted. We've been fighting, me against 5 guys, nonstop. And he decides, you know, this window over here looks pretty cool. I'm going to move the camera here and get you guys side by side. So the problem with this is we had rehearsed the thing in about a 12-foot space where we started fighting here. I am getting punched against an electric box and fight my way back out. So when he moves the camera, it moves our spacing a good 2 feet smaller because we've got to capture the fight in front of this window. So his move on me was a right, a left, and an uppercut. So We've done it several times all day, everything's fine. 2-foot difference as we get to the window. Here comes the right, here comes the left, uppercut, pops my nose, I'm against that electricity box, and blood's pouring out. I think you broke my nose. I'm spitting out blood and snorting blood out, and everyone's like, oh shit. And apparently the guys down in the warehouse further could hear the pop. It sounds like a watermelon pop, and he was trying to find Foley for it, and he was like, the sound is so awesome, I don't even need to use a watermelon, we're gonna use the real thing. So, unlike the guy you were talking about, however, I say, fuck it, let's use it.
Yeah.
I mean, we're only gonna get this now, I'm bleeding, we could like get as much as you can, get me coming out looking for the guy and blood falling everywhere. He's like, cool, fine, so we shoot for another hour. The upside of this part of the story, as bad as it is, I never had my nose broken, so hooray, I'm now a man who's had his nose broken. We added it into the movie, so the next day shooting, you know, we're having to make it match, because we do the second part of the escape, so I've got blood all over my face, I'm shooting AK-47. The night scene, we're at a strip club. And I'm going, why don't I put tampons in my nose? So it becomes one of the funniest parts of the story where I walk in with tampons in my nose because of the bloody nose. Cocktail waitress walks by, I pop them on the tray because I'm a real fucking prick, excuse my language. And yeah, so it's a horror story, but also one of those stories like all these where you're kind of, in a weird way, proud of them at the end of the day.
But this is the reason I got hired on film. They did not have
Exactly.
a stunt
We had
coordinator.
no stunt coordinator.
And they hired a stunt coordinator, and we didn't have any more injuries except for that one,
And
where the director went against me.
Yes.
Awesome. I love you guys' energy, man. Wow, what's going on? Okay, horror story. Any more?
I've got one.
You got one? Come on up.
So, my name is PHILLIPSTAR. I've been in theater and acting since I was 15. I was mostly a stage actor up until about 5 years ago, and I worked for Walt Disney World as a performer. I was the media mouse. This story was, in Orlando there is a rotating restaurant where they meet the characters, and I was Dale from Chippendale, and my back-to-back, so it's a half an hour on set and a half an hour off set, and there's 2 Dales, and you switch, right? And this is the story where I saw my back-to-back on set. So Dale was looking at Dale, and there was a slew of people laughing at us. So I go out on set, and I'm signing books, and I'm hugging kids and high-fiving, and I notice that I start to seeing dads laugh and moms giggle and snicker. And I look up, and I see a chipmunk about 6 tables behind me. But I see its back, and Chip and Dale have the same costume except 2 different heads. So I was like, oh, it's my partner. Whatever, it's Chip. And I'm signing, and people are laughing and pointing, staring. I'm like, well, what's going on? And I'm signing my book, and I look up, and I see Dale staring at me, and we're touching noses. Oh, God. So, take my book, throw it over my nose, and I run in the opposite direction. And I'm running, and I get halfway around the restaurant, and I realize I stole a little kid's book. So I run back, and I drop it off, and I take off running, and I leave off set. Well, the restaurant had just set up those tables, so my next set comes around, and they're still sitting there. So I walk up, and I'm saying hi to these people that I had just met a half an hour ago, and the dad goes, don't worry, I won't tell. He goes, because I know you'll get fired. That's my story where I saw my back-to-back.
Oops.
Dale met Dale.
All right, you guys are so talented. When you tell stories, oh my God, I felt like mine was so bad. Let me go back and tell it. You know?
Oh no, it was bad. It was bad.
Horror story. Any more? Okay. All right. You have 2 minutes. Don't go about that. Audience will judge by applause. All right. Raph?
Yep.
You ready?
Yep.
Everybody welcome Raph. You want to set it up for us?
Yeah, this is, I play a German lawyer. This is Judgment Nuremberg through the period of the Third Reich. And I'm talking to the German judges about what a bunch of assholes these guys were.
Nazi bastard. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
And I'm a lawyer. The case is unusual in that the defendants are charged with crimes committed in the name of the law. The defendants served as judges during the period of the Third Reich. Therefore, you, your honors, serving as judges on the bench, will be sitting in judgment of judges in the dock. And this is as it should be. For only a judge knows how much more a court is than a courtroom. It is the house of law. The defendants knew this too. They knew courtrooms well. They sat with their black robes and they distorted, they perverted, they destroyed justice and law in Germany. But the prosecution isn't calling the defendants to account for violating constitutional guarantees of withholding due process of law. The prosecution is calling the defendants to account for murder, brutalities, tortures, atrocities they share with all leaders of the Third Reich. Responsibility for the most malignant, the most calculating, the most devastating crimes in the history of all mankind. And they're just as guilty as perhaps some of the others. Their minds weren't warped at an early age by Nazi teachings. They embraced the ideologies of the Third Reich as educated adults, where they most of all should have valued justice. Well, here they'll receive the justice they denied others. They'll be judged according to the evidence presented in this courtroom. That's it.
I thought you were going to do it in Germany. I was like, you're not leaving.
That was awesome. Very emotional. Thank you. Thank you. All right, next we have Trinity.
I thought I was like third. Can I take my mask off?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, put it back on. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Y'all gonna figure out what it's about. Okay. I've lived with this. And music was my old man. And I could dance a dance at a time. A dance with no partners. Just take my pills and keep right on stepping, you know? I would linger in non-English speaking arms. Just so there was no possibility of understanding. But you came in saying, I am that nigga. And I am the baddest motherfucker in here. And I said, yes. And I said, this is the one for me. But to be with you, I had to give everything. The dance and the terror, the dead musicians and the hope. And the scars that I had hidden with smiles and good fucking lay open, and I don't know times. And you hurt me more than I can dance out of. Into oblivion is not far enough to get out of this. I am ready to die like a lily in the desert. And I couldn't let you in on it because I didn't know. So here's what I got for you. Poems, little thighs, little tits, and a whole lot of loving. Can you just take it from me already? This is for you. The Arsenio stress cleared the way, making me pure again, please. I want you to love me. Can you just let me love you? I don't want to dance with ghosts. Snuggle love aside, made in my own drunkenness. I just want to finally be real. And I want you to love me just like I am. A colored girl. No longer symmetrical. And impervious to pain. Boom.
You know, I thought you actors, after you finish, you go, and scene. You don't do that anymore?
No.
I should have said that.
All right, let me get your name. FARBOD?
FARBOD.
Come on up.
How you doing, guys? My name is FARBOD, and I will do a monologue. I mean, you're going to see. I'm a high school monologue, simple. Okay. Wow. This is okay. All great stories. Everyone, great stories. But mine is better. So I was junior year of high school. I walk into class, and my teacher looks at me. Hey, FARBOD. I look at him. Shit, she's gonna do it again. He's gonna do it again. Hey, FARBOD. No, please don't call on me. He's like, hey, FARBOD. I'm like, yeah, how you doing? Yeah. So what are your kids' names going to be? And I'm like, oh my God, there he goes. The whole class is already laughing. They're all just, and I'm just like, oh, this son of a... Come on, FARBOD, it's just a joke. And I'm like, this guy. Your kids' names are going to be close bod, near bod, and something else bod. And I'm just like, this guy, really? This? Okay. I sit down, my friends are like, FARBOD, why do you let the teacher pick on you? I'm like, you know why? You know why? Because I don't do shit. I never did my classwork. I never studied for the tests. I never did anything. I think he just passed me because he felt guilty of the jokes that he would say. Apparently, he would talk about me in his house to his family too. And I'm so serious. His son was in my drama class. His son would say, my father was talking about you at home. And I'm like, what? I have this much of an impact on this guy's life that he's talking to me at home about his family? But anyway, I passed the class. I was all good. I never studied for anything, so I never said anything. But I mean, if I got to sit here, take this guy's jokes, and pass the class, so be it. Yeah, so be it. Hate that guy. And the stream. There you go.
All right, so let's, what's up, yes?
I got one that I could do.
Oh.
I kind of changed my mind. I was like, I don't know if I should, but...
All right, you got
He's giving away a new Kia. So you guys might as well do it. He's giving the Kia away.
Alright, hi guys, I'm Zahra.
Zahra?
Zahra.
All right.
And I'm an actor. I'm going to court, Mom. I want those people to look at me, you know? I want them to look at me and explain to me how it's my fault I got sick working at their factory. Oh, all something wasn't right. You know, at night I would just lay down in my bed and I'd stare at my dress. It was hanging on the back of the closet door. You remember that? And then I'd look down at my shoes on the floor and my hairbrush and my comb, and it was glowing, Ma. There was so much light. And I never complained about it, okay? I never argued. I never said one thing. And I'm done with that, okay? So I'm going. I don't care what you have to say about it anymore. See?
All right. They're all awesome, awesome. I used to be an actor, like I love it because I was too good. I was too good. Did I tell you guys I auditioned to be a model at Tiffany's, but I didn't get it because I was overqualified? Can I have all 4 actors come up, please? All right. Good luck.
I want to love with you.
So we're going to judge by applause, and I'm not the best at hearing sometimes, so if I get it wrong, please correct me. Raph, how? Yeah! FARBOD. ZAHRA. And Tiffany.
Girlfriend.
All right, one more time. Right? Sorry. All right, everybody's a winner. Everybody's a winner.
Everybody's winning.
And the Oscar goes to ZAHRA.
Yeah, my biggest would be there.
Tiffany. Thank you. Tiffany is good. She's good.
And what did she win, boy?
I was thinking of my ex. That's all right. All right, have a seat.
It's a date with Ron.
All right. So we had a little problem with technical difficulties with this screen here. I was going to show you a couple of short films, but we'll do it next time, all right? Now, some of you I know, I've seen your films, I've seen your work, right? I know a lot of people inside the industry, outside the industry, and so I know some people who are full of shit too. You know what I mean? People brag about things they haven't done. So I want to give out some congratulations, some special notoriety to people I've worked with who I think have done an exceptional job. You all are great, you all are special, but these are just people I know personally that I think have just rocked it. And hopefully next time we'll have the film so you guys can vote and everything. So, with that said, it's awards time.
It's the chocolate almond candy, man.
It's a new car. Now, I'm sorry, this is all I can give. Best monologue. We have Tiffany, Trinity. You want to say something?
You want to thank all the little people?
Yes.
She is the little people.
I am the littlest of the people. My name is Trinity Swearington. I'm an actress and also come to see our production of For Colored Girls, TBD. But yeah, and that's really it. Come check me out whenever you guys see For Colored Girls being produced because it's being directed by me. So,
Okay. next one, I recently saw a film, and I really, really loved it. Short film, you guys probably have not seen it yet, but you'll hopefully in the future you'll see me hear about it. It's by exceptional director. So this is for best short film in Darkest Night, BZ.
Oh. Hello for everybody who doesn't know me. My name is BZ. I'm primarily a voice actor. Just recently became a filmmaker. I put out 2 short films this year. My goal is to put out 3, but it's just a matter of working on getting the money. But they're all based on the DC comic book character, the Green Lantern, John Stewart. So the first one is on YouTube currently. It's called In Brightest Day Off. The second one that Ron saw is called In Blackest Night Out. We have that running in the film festivals right now, and we're looking to eventually throw it up on Amazon Prime. So once it's done with the festival run. And now I'm working on the 3rd film, and the name of that one is No Evil Shall Escape. So for anybody who's a comic book head, you'll know that those titles are based on the Green Lantern Oath. So, but yeah, that's what we're looking to do. Ron, thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. I did not expect this. I'm ready for my close-up, Mr. DeVito. Thank you.
All right. This next one goes to a guy who always has a great idea for a film. Every time he tells me something, I'm like, dude, you should just make that. And he has a ton of ideas. And the way he delivers it, the way he pitches it, you get the visual sense right away. And sometimes somebody gives you an idea or they tell you about a story they're thinking about and you just don't get it. You can't visualize it. This guy, he gives it to you and you immediately see it and there's like a great twist to it. Every time he's pitched something to me, I'm like, wow, I gotta do that. I may steal that. So this is for this is for best pitch to Kevin Bowfinger.
Oh. Yeah, I'm not that big. Oh, man. Thank you, man. Oh, my God, this is my first what I've ever won. You know, I'm really choked up right now. Oh, I just want to thank the little people. My
Again, Trinity?
No, I'm just Hey, Trey, cut that out. Yeah, this is awesome, man. Thank you, bro. This is cool. This is my first report. Yeah, and singing.
All right, so I'm gonna thank you guys. So this again is just, this is my second dinner, so we're gonna have some more, and I'm hoping you guys will attend. You know, it's really wonderful having artists come together, share experiences, and get recognized for your work. I mean, when I first started out, no one gave a damn. I would say I'm a filmmaker, people were like, whatever. You know what I mean? I was like, wow. So last thing is, does anyone have any announcements they want to make? Please, we can use this opportunity. You have it? What's that?
Again, I'm Al Woodman. I am the founder and head instructor of the Las Vegas Stunt Academy. Again, if you've been to my school or go to my school, raise your hand. There's a bunch of people. Okay. First class is always free. It's always a good way. It's not, so stunt work isn't for everybody, right? But I think everybody should do some classes simply because we practice safety on set, fight choreography, basic fight balls, weapon work. We do high balls, 50 feet into airbags. We've done live burns, horseback riding, precision driving, weapons handling, safety on set. We're all about safety. And the idea is I think every actor should get some idea of what goes into fight choreography or weapons work or any of the other stunt work that we do, right? Without a doubt, you should have some idea of what takes place so that when you're on a set, you know how to keep yourself safe. Because all my guys will answer this question. Who's responsible for your safety?
You are.
That's right. So don't trust somebody else with your safety. Don't go on a set and go, well, he's a stunt coordinator, he's a stunt man, I don't have to work. Really? Ask about the last two guys who fought on a film for me when I said no. Right? But I think everyone should. So we're right off the corner of Decatur and Hacienda, Brownstown Gymnastics Center. If you want more information, I got business cards in my pocket, and we're on, go to www.lasvegasstuntacademy.com, or go to the Las Vegas Stunt Academy page on Facebook, or look at me, Alan Woodman, or talk to any of my guys that are here. So, and we'd love to support more of the networking thing. So we've got over 30-something students. I'd love to bring them all.
Awesome.
Because I think networking is a big thing. About 3 weeks ago, we had a big networking event at my school where we had 60-something people show up. We had directors, producers, casting agents, award-winning screenwriters, award-winning directors, award-winning producers, and they gave talks and lectures throughout the day, and we even had an audition for some future films we're on. So we do everything there, right? But I think every actor should get as much knowledge of your craft, and part of your craft sometimes is, hey, can you do a fight scene? Can you take a punch? How do you sell a punch? How do you sell a hit? Right? How do you fall? You go, well, falling to the ground isn't hard. Depends on the ground, first of all, right? And depends on if you know how to hit the ground. If you don't know how to hit the ground, huh?
How many takes you do?
Right? Take 72. Real quick, a little bit of a horror story, not much fun, but I was working on a film, a big martial art film. It was, we had, I think our budget was $3 million, which is big for a martial arts film. Right? And this was in the 90s. So, yes, I'm old, shut up. Okay? Where we did a fight scene, and anybody know who Kurt McKinney is? Kurt McKinney is a great actor. He's really well known for a specific movie called No Retreat, No Surrender, right? But he is actually more known as a soap opera star. For 17 years he was on Young and the Restless, right? So, great actor. And we had this fight scene with him, right? And the fight scene was, you know, kick and punch and kick, and then they wanted his shirt to come off because he had this really good bod for a guy, and they wanted to expose that on the film.
I know
So,
that feeling.
right? that's the other film, right? So, but the idea was I was supposed to grab his shirt, and he spins out of it, and then kicks me, and I go flying off. So, I'm good. Like, we do it. All right, we want to set up the camera, do it again. We do another 4 or 5 takes, set up the camera at another angle, do it again. Right? So I'm like at the 9th take, 10 takes, and I keep hitting the floor. About the 15th take, I was suddenly like putting my hand on my side because my side kept smacking the cement when I landed. I'm like, okay, it was just getting a little tender. You know, I was like, okay, I just, you know, when I fell, I'm off camera so you can't see me. Put my hand in 17th take, 18th take, 19th take. Around the 19th take, we're good. And I'm like, wow, man, oh, that hurts. Undid my pants, pulled my pants down here. Red, green, purple, blue, yellow, that freaking big. Just pound the cement, pounding my hip bone, and it just hurt like hell. So there's a horror story for it, right? So it happens, right? And the Las Vegas Stunt Academy, I started it almost 3 years ago. And it's because I was hired to do stunt work and be a stunt coordinator for a couple of films, and I keep running into people who the first thing when I talk to them, it's the most annoying thing in my life, is that, oh, what do you do? I'm a stunt coordinator. Oh, I've done stunts. I'm a stunt man. I've done stuff. And I'm like, oh, great, what? Well, just some, you know, some other stuff. And I'm like, okay, great. And then I get to choreographing a fight scene. Or the worst thing I hate, I've been 50 years in martial arts. I'm the world title holder for 6 years in a row for the international tournament. The most recent one was in June. So I'm not that old, right? But 50 years, 23 years in Japan. I trained with Bruce Lee's teacher in Hong Kong, lived with him for 6 months. I've done martial arts, I've done my thing. And I love when people, and when I say love, I like hate the shit out of it. is that when I get on set and some guy goes, yeah, I've been studying martial arts for years. I'm a martial arts guy. And I'm like, great. And we start to choreograph a scene and he knows absolutely nothing, right? So it's the most annoying thing. And when I get on the sets and people say, well, I do stunts or I did this and I did that, and I'm like, great, let's do something for your scene. And I literally have to teach them the most basic stuff, right? And I'm like going, I wish there was a place that would teach people, you know, how to do this stuff. And I'm like, well, jackass, why don't you do that? Stop bitching and say, you know, do it. And so I'm actually one of only 5 actual working stunt schools in the United States.
Wow.
Is here in Las Vegas.
Cool.
So 3 years we've been running, so please come by. You don't know where it is? It's 5277 South Cameron Street, corner of Posse and Indicator. It's at Brown's Gymnastics Center, right? We have all the safety equipment and stuff, and it's a fantastic school. So thank you very much for
I can vouch for him. Everything you said is true.
Thank you.
Anybody else with announcements? All right. Just so you guys know, I have a YouTube channel where I do interviews with actors to help promote them, and we get those interviews off to producers, directors. And I would love to talk to you if you're an actor, or so we can help promote your work and get you out there. All right. So thank you all. Let's you can continue to network, have more food, and enjoy yourself.
Thank you.
I would like to say something about Ron.
Don't cuss.
This is really a good thing that's happening right here with the meetings and everything, and we need to make this grow bigger and bigger and bigger, because I talked to Ron recently about an idea that I think, we talked about, and I think it's something that we should happen. It could happen, and this make it keep growing and growing. So we're going to do this in November at Ron's house again. You don't know about that, but I'm just saying.
I was like, what?
Wait, my house?
You know what I mean? But I just, this is awesome to put this together, man, and this is really good.
Yeah.
And thank you for my award, man.
I would like to say something too.
Go ahead.
I think you're awesome.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
thank
for you to do this and the setting and everything is, I love it. I think it's great.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Can we do
And
that
I was going to
together?
do yes.
Yeah.
I want
Doctor.
to recognize my enemies.
That's Pete Spray.
All right. Thank you all. Thank you.
I was like, Ron got Chipotle and a piano dude? You got over the top with this one.
That's how we do it in New York, man.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
She gets